Hi guys, so we are going to have a little tour of the Edimental garden, Wendy and Orlaith's Edimental garden. Beautiful day here today, so lovely to show off all the plants. This is just a year old, just slightly over than a year old, and as I mentioned, it has been a sort of a COVID project, and it has been my lifesaver over this time, but it's been great fun to do. So it was a field, it was just a grass field, and we covered it in mulch and cardboard, and we planted basically straight into it. So it's a work in progress. It's consistently changing and evolving. We have shrubs and trees in here, so as they grow up, space will move and change, and as it should do, and that's as we want it. At the moment, our priority is to get ground cover in, because as you can imagine, we're battling grass and briars and God knows what else. So ground cover is really important to us. And hardy plants have to earn their living in this garden. So anyway, let's take a quick look. This bed, the garden is set kind of into 4 quadrants. They will change over time, but again, at the moment, that's how we're looking at it for this year. So this would be our sort of Mediterranean allium garden. And here we've got tons and tons of alliums, like Chinese allium, Japanese allium, Babington's leek. We've got nodding onions, bunching onions, potato onions, chives. I mean, huge amount of alliums in this bed. Plus loads of herbs, agastache. This little beauty down here is mitsuba, which is a Japanese parsley. And this tree here is one of the legacy trees that came from that was here originally, so we're going to take him out and push him onto the tree nursery next year. He can stay for the moment. You can see here, this is Paulonia, and Paulonia I will pollard. It has an edible leaf, but it's not great. It's you know, it's only all right. But we have Akebia quinata growing up it, which is the chocolate vine, which is lovely, puts on beautiful flowers, and with a mate, it will put on some fruit, hopefully in this south-facing garden. Tons of chives, loads of lovely fennels and verbascums, rosemaries, king-spear, which is asphodine. We've got geraniums, perennial cornflowers. We've got calycanthus. Look at that baby. Do you see that? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the bark of this tree, or shrub, it will, you can use the bark as a spice, which is very, very handy. This lovely thing over here is salsify, and there's scorzonera behind it, so we'll go around. We've tons of daylilies, tons and tons and tons of daylilies. Sanguisorba there. And then this lovely thing here, if I got my shadow out of the way, is a date plum. So that's one of our trees that will grow up. Then we have feijoa, which is pineapple guava. Acasalawiniana, I think it is. And then we've got tons of sedums, which are the ice plant. Moving on around, loads of hostas, if you can see the hosta, there we go. On up again, hostas. And this gorgeous thing here is Rheum palmatum tanguinitium, I think, Turkish rhubarb. Look at the colour of that. Can you see that? Isn't that amazing? I'm sorry, my camera work is desperate. We've got lovage over here, which is brilliant. Then we have a poor little banana who has suffered, but is not dead, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That little fella is a Sarum europaeum, which is wild ginger. More work to do here. Do you see the plantains and the lemon balm and the linarias? These are all ground covers for the moment. Those plantains are very, very useful, so we don't tend to get rid of them too much. We've got wild sorrels as well, which are handy and very useful plants. But this area here is covered in, or has tons of dahlias in it, so the dahlias will come on up then. This side of the bed, more daylilies, scorzonera, whichever way you say it. Asters, tons of asters. Look at this thing. Whoa, Jimmy Blake gave me this, and this is where Wendy kills me because I never label anything, or I forget to label. But so I'll have to just wait and see. But I think it's a seedling that I got from Jimmy, but I'll have to ask him. We've the fennels, as I mentioned, thymes. There's King Spear, which is asphodel, yellow asphodel, or asphodel lutea, I think it is, and loads of lavenders, and what else do we have over here? Tons of mint, valerian. The big chap here shouldn't actually really be here. He is Melisalinum. Can't think of his second name. And I don't think it's edible, so just ignore that one for the moment. But isn't it beautiful? Let's say it's a bee plant. That's what we'll say. It's a bee plant. What else do we have here? So there's tons and tons of mints. Do you see what I mean about the mint? So we leave the mint, make a ground cover here, which is great. I'll put a little barrier this side to stop it getting into the Mediterranean bed, but on this side it's perfectly fine. It can do its job, no problem. Off it goes. We've hazels, and over here this is sort of our marginal area where we won't garden too much. We will just gently ease back into nature. So all of those blackthorns are going to stay, but in there we've things like Cornus mass, and that little fella there is a plucot. So we'll put in a few little things, little choice plants like that, but we'll gently ease back into nature because we want it to sit well in the landscape as well. We don't want it to be like sticking out like a sore thumb. On this side then we have things like mahonias, kales that we've left to go to seed, agastache, which is amazing, yarrows, which is absolutely super, bugle, an amazing what do you call that, comfrey. It's a low growing comfrey. Bees absolutely love it. Hello bee. And then up this way, I'll come up this way so that you don't see my shadow. This is pachyphragma. Oh my god, it's not desperate. Senior moment, can't think of the surname. Pachyphragma. It's another P word. Anyway, I'll come back to it. But it's a great edible leaf and edible flower. Really lovely. Angelicas. This is more mints and a cherry. And then we have, these are little legacy plants from last year, some chards that are going to stay and can go to self-seed themselves. Chervil, there's sweet Sicily in there, Monesia, which is the tree, I can't think of it. Tree carrot. Good God, I can't think of anything at the moment. We have things like Solomon seal in this bed, ostrich ferns, tons and tons of bits and pieces in here. Then on this side, and more roses as well. On this side we have daylilies, sweet Sicily, ugnies. Ugni is amazing. This is a shrub that is from Chile originally, I think, and it puts on a berry in October, November, December. That sort of, I definitely know I've had it in Christmas Day fruit salad, and it is like, oh, it's like sherbet. It's absolutely delicious, really gorgeous. More daylilies, Colruteria, which is a beautiful tree. It's Indian rain tree. Motherworth, loads of different herbs. What else do we have here? And again, this bed is of course filled with things like dahlias and other tuber crops that are going to go in, like ulico and occas and yakan. These are all our tubers that are yet. There's still a chance of frost, so they're not going out yet, but they're getting ready to go in. We've things like the alpine strawberries, which are amazing, not only for the berries but also for the leaves. The leaves are absolutely delicious, young leaves. We have a fig in there, sanguisorba, which is salve burnet. We of course have tons of marigolds which self-seed all over the place, which are brilliant. That lamium there is lamium ovata or ovala, orvatus or ovala, one or the other. Nepetas, and then of course we have oddities like, if I come around the corner here, look at this. So this is blackwood acacia, which is acacia, I think it's meloxylon, which is mad, because look at it, look at the two different types of leaves it has. You see that? Isn't that just bizarre? But it's a gorgeous looking plant. But that's it, and there's my view. And as I've said, this is, oh, look at the orange tip. Can you see the orange tip butterfly? You probably can't. Stop. Make you seasick. It's a work in progress. It's a year old, and it has been a blessing for me personally, because it has been my sanctuary over COVID, and I'm so grateful to Wendy and Richard, of course, for giving me the opportunity of this lovely space on this gorgeous piece of land. And it's just brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed. And I do post stuff up on Instagram if you want to keep an eye on how it progresses over the year. But there you go. Onwards and upwards. Thanks so much.